Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dan on Sports. Well, the NFL has essentially said to the government, to the fans, in your face, we're going to put games on streaming platforms whether you like it or not. And the justification is more eyeballs are going to streaming platforms. And part of their defense is that 87% of their games are still on traditional TV, legacy TV, like the networks, and also ESPN, although I don't count ESPN as legacy TV because you have to pay for ESPN. Whereas if you have an antenna, you live in certain areas, you can still get the major networks. You need to pay for ESPN. Obviously, if you have a cable television subscription or any kind of a streaming subscription that includes the major networks, then you're paying for that. But the point of the matter is the NFL's defense is, well, 87% of our games are still available so that you don't have to have a streaming service to watch those games, and that's better than all of the other sports. Might be true, might not be true. It depends on how you cut the pie from an explanation standpoint. But the bottom line is, even though the government has put some pressure on the NFL and fans have complained that more and more games are going to streaming, including games that feature top teams, that, the thing is getting out of hand. More and more fans are complaining about that. But NFL doesn't care. It's all about the money. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't have a problem with the NFL doing that. I mean, the NFL is a business. If that's what the NFL wants to do, the fans can do one of two things. They can boycott the streaming services and not watch the games, or they can go out and buy streaming services to watch the games. It's what is left of a free market system, which is dwindling by the day. However, there is a way the government can fight back. And it goes back to 1961 when the Sports Broadcasting Act was passed. In fact, its name is the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961. And what was that? Well, it permitted the NFL to go out and collectively bargain for a national television contract and then divvy up the money equally. And you might say, well, what difference is that compared to the other sports? Baseball, basketball, hockey, they all do that. They do, but in the case of the NFL, these other teams cannot go out and negotiate a TV contract separately for regular season games. They can in the exhibition. And they must divide the revenue up equally among the teams. In this case, now there are 32 NFL teams. The revenue must be divided up equally. That's not the case, for example, with baseball, where the Yankees have their individual TV packages, and boy, do they have their individual TV packages with the YES Network, with Prime, and the Red Sox have NESN, the Mets have SNY, go down the line. Where it is a collective endeavor is when they get these national TV contracts and then they divide that revenue up equally. But there's no salary cap in baseball. The NFL, again, has a salary cap. The NFL has these TV contracts that must be divided up equally, and the revenue must be shared, and there has to be a salary cap. All of this is the result of the NFL getting the benefit of the government's Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961. So how can the government apply some pressure to the NFL and say, hey, you know what? You want to go ahead and stream? You want to go ahead and really hurt your fan base, which is complaining? Go ahead. But we're going to introduce legislation that diminishes that Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961 or eliminates the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961. Because on the surface, there is no way the NFL would be able to do what it's doing now if there were no Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961. It would be an antitrust violation. I mean, think about it. You've got all these companies that are going to collect, all companies that make widgets are suddenly going to collectively go out and they are going to set a certain price and they're going to divide the revenue up equally. There'd be no competition. Really, none. And in a sense, it is the same with football, the NFL. It's collectivism. It's absolute collectivism, but the NFL does it under the guise of entertainment, and this is what the league needed in order to survive. Well, There's nothing, there's already been some legislation introduced in regards to how the NFL structures its TV markets. It was introduced by a representative from Wisconsin because there's a major impact on Wisconsin. You've got the Green Bay Packers games blacked out in Wisconsin because not all of Wisconsin. You can watch the game locally, and that's the other defense by the NFL. Let me digress for just a moment. Let's say, for example, the Patriots game is going to be on Netflix. Well, if you live in the Boston television market, you'll still be able to watch the game on an over-the-air TV station. Or if you live in New York and the Giants game is on Prime, well, you can still watch the Giants game on a New York station. But the NFL is unique. It's one of the reasons it's the most popular sports league. It is a league where the fan loyalty goes across the country. You've got a big fan base of Dallas Cowboys fans in New York, for example, or, well, America's team. Same with all the NFL teams, Kansas City Chiefs. I cannot tell you, in my neck of the woods in the Northeast, the number of Kansas City Chiefs fans there are. This was even before the Chiefs got good. So, I mean, that's what makes the NFL so popular and so unique. And the NFL is countering by saying, well, we're not costing the fans of individual teams. Well, in a sense, you are, because of this system. So all the government has to do is propose some kind of legislation, and that's what this Wisconsin representative did. For example, saying, well, you need to reformulate the television markets because outside of the Green Bay, Milwaukee TV market, if you live in Wisconsin and are a Green Bay Packers fan, if the game is on Netflix, you have to get Netflix in order to watch the game in Wisconsin. And I can go on and on. And I mean, I even see it in Connecticut, where I want to watch the New York Giants on a Sunday afternoon, and I live 100 miles from New York. I live 120 miles from Foxborough, and I have to watch the Patriots game on certain days, on certain Sundays, or mostly Sundays, obviously, when most of the teams play. I have to watch the Patriots game because, in this case, the NFL has decided to give both the Giants game and the Patriots game to one network. And there's no way I can watch the Giants game unless I pay for it. And I'm already paying for it with my cable television subscription. So that legislation is being introduced in Congress, but I think it needs to go beyond that. All the government has to do is somebody in Congress introduce legislation which says, look at NFL, we're not going to totally eliminate the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961, where you get an antitrust exemption, but what we are going to do is amend it to state that, look, you can do what you want as far as divvying up your revenue equally. You can do what you want as far as your TV packages, but no games on these streaming services. Can't happen. And if the NFL comes back and says, well, that's a violation of the free market system, then the government will say, well, guess what? You want the true free market system? Then we'll totally eliminate the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961. We'll totally eliminate it and then go out and see how it works. It would be chaos. And the NFL knows it would be chaos. You have the Giants getting their own TV contract, the Jets getting their own TV contract, the Cowboys, the Patriots. And let me tell you, they'd make a lot more money. You'd have tremendous disparity. I mean, this is what baseball wants. This is what baseball is trying to do, by the way, by bringing all of its local TV contracts in-house. Major League Baseball, and they're obviously running into some obstacles because you've got the Yankees with Yes, the Dodgers with their system. The Braves now have put together their own system. And so the Braves make more in local TV revenue than, let's say, the Kansas City Royals make. The Yankees make more in local TV revenue than just about every other team. Same with the Mets. And if you notice, what MLB is trying to do is bring these local TV rights in-house so that they can then divvy the share up equally, so that you don't have this disparity as far as revenue among the big market teams versus the small market teams. They're doing an end around. But the NFL is coming out and saying, you do what you want to do, but we are going to continue what we're doing. We're going to put our games on streaming. Our defense will be, well, 87% of the games are still available, and all local games are still available in that particular market. But again, what they do not tell you is how they rig the formation how they gerrymander. I guess that's the best way to describe it, how they gerrymander the TV markets so that they can make more money. And all the government has to do, like I said, say, all right, you don't want to listen to us? This is what you want to do? You want to put more games on streaming and you want to put all your high-profile games on streaming? Go ahead. We're going to eliminate the act. See how you like it. You really want a free market system? That's what we'll do. Or what the NFL, what the government could also do is say, we're going to amend the act to say, do what you want to do as far as divvying up your money equally, but here's what we're going to do when it comes to TV. You must not have streaming of these games. Several ways to approach this. The NFL would, I'd love to see this, by the way. The NFL would go ballistic. As I said, I don't have any problem with the NFL putting games on streaming services. If you're going to come back and tell me, well, it's the free market system, you're absolutely right. But if you really want the free market system, let's eliminate the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961 and see if the NFL goes for that. Not a chance. Not a chance in the world. That's how you fight back. This is going to be very interesting. But all of this now is the result coming out of the NFL owners' spring meeting this week that we have no problem cutting deals with these streaming services. Okay, well, maybe it's time the government doesn't have a problem with amending or even eliminating the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961. If you want a real free market system, here you go. This is a fight that's worth watching. That's going to do it for Dan on Sports. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thank you for doing both. And be sure to subscribe to my newsletter. And to do that, all you need to do is go to danonsports.com. See you later.